In today's video, I want to talk about how you explain the value of health coaching. I just recently gave a brand new masterclass, and one of the big questions that I had was, how do you explain the value of health coaching to people who may not be familiar with health coaching? Will they get it? Will they be interested in it? They don't know what it is. They haven't been exposed to it. They're not really open to new ideas. They're not open to trying new things, to investing in health coaching or that type of thing. And especially depending on where you live, sometimes if you're in another country or a certain part of the United States, you may think you're in a place where people don't really get it and they're not interested in it. And this was a big concern that I heard people bringing up on the masterclass when I did the Q&A at the end. And so I wanted to address this and talk about this because I know if a few people have this question, a lot of people have this question. And so how do you explain the value of health coaching? How do you show the value of it? If people aren't familiar with it, how can you explain it in a way that makes them interested? And I'm going to go through that. And I actually have 4 steps that you want to keep in mind when you're explaining the value of health coaching. And the thing is, it doesn't matter where you live or if people know what health coaching is, because really what you're selling is not health coaching. You're selling the solution to a problem. And people all over the world have problems that can be solved through coaching, okay? I don't care where in the world you live, people have problems and they want help. They want those problems solved. And that is really what we are. We're problem solvers for people, right? Like that's what coaches are. People hire coaches because they have a problem and they want it solved, all right? Let me know if that's making sense to you. Give me a yes in the comments if it is, because it's a really important distinction to recognize that. You're not selling health coaching, you're selling the solution to a problem. Okay, so that brings me to step number 1, what you must know in order to effectively show the value of health coaching, the health coaching you're offering or the coaching you're offering. So number 1 is knowing your ideal client, okay? Ideal client is super important because it's very difficult to explain what it is you do and the value of it when you're really general. Because let's just take health coaching for example. I have a lot of health coaches that say, I just want to help people prevent disease. I want to help people, feel better and not get sick. And I'm always like, that's nice, and it would be great if people were interested in that, but really, as humans, what we're interested in is solutions to problems. We're not really interested in prevention because we're not thinking about it as being a problem until after we have the problem, okay? So when it comes to showing the value of what you have to offer, when you can be specific about the problem that you help solve, as opposed to just saying, I help you not get sick or I help you feel better, to say, I help you lose 10 pounds or I help you lose the last 10 pounds or I help you with hypothyroidism or, some sort of specific issue. I help you with anxiety. It's much easier to show that you have a solution to a problem. So ideal client, we're looking for who is a specific target market. What is the problem that they have? So the problem is really that important thing, the problem that you're gonna help people solve, okay? Number 1 thing, because when you recognize that you're helping people solve a problem, it doesn't matter if people know what health coaching is. What you're selling is the solution to that problem, okay? So that's number 1, ideal client, really understanding it, really understanding the problem those people have and what it is that they want instead, okay? Really important. Number 2 is knowing what your program and your pricing are, okay? So now you know who your ideal client is and you know what the problem is that person has. Now you want to think about, what is the solution to this problem that I'm going to offer people? And I was just talking about this in the masterclass, but you want the solution that you have to be unique, and you want it to be different than probably what your ideal client has already been exposed to, because most likely they've tried things that haven't worked for them. So what do you include in your program that is different, that you're offering, that is going to help them get the result when they haven't been able to get it yet? Okay, when you're really clear on that, it's going to help you sell your coaching for sure, because you're going to know, like, I have the solution that you need. This is the thing you've been missing that's going to help you solve this problem. Okay. And you want to be clear on your pricing and feel good about your pricing. You want to feel confident about your pricing. Okay. Because once you know both of these and you feel confident about it, then it's going to be much easier to sell. So you know your ideal client, you know the problem, you know the solution that you're offering, and you feel good about the pricing that you're putting on the solution. And if you have questions about pricing, I have other videos on that, so I will link it below this video. And I also have videos specifically on ideal client and program, so I will link those as well. Okay, so after you know what your program and the pricing is, you want to make sure that you feel really good about it and you've gone through it and you understand it so that you can explain it to other people. So that really brings me to the next step, which is your messaging. Okay. So a lot of people get confused about how to communicate what it is they do. So when you know who your ideal client is, you know what their problem is, and you know what the solution is that you provide and why it's amazing and why it's going to help them, then you can communicate this to other people. And you want to communicate it very simply, and you want to communicate it using your ideal client's words, okay? So a lot of times coaches use what I like to call coaching lingo to explain what it is that they do, because they're coming from their perspective of already having solved the problem and maybe what they've learned through that process. But really, when we speak to our ideal client, we need to be using their words and speaking from their perspective of where they are right now, which is in the problem. Okay. And so when you have an ideal client, you know their problem, you know the solution that you provide, this is what you want to be talking about when you are communicating what it is you do. Okay. And as you can see, if you're helping people solve problems, it doesn't matter if people know what health coaching is. You don't even need to tell people you're a health coach. I mean, of course you can. You can call yourself a coach. You can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself, but it doesn't matter if they know what health coaching is. So it doesn't matter where in the world you live, where in the United States you live, if you live in a place where people aren't really interested in health coaching. When you have a problem that you solve, that is what you're selling, okay? And of course, you get to pick your ideal client. So if you're working just locally, obviously you're a little more restricted as far as, you know, your geographic region. And so you want to take that into account. But when you're working online, you have such a big reach, you can really pick who you want to be working with and how educated that person is about coaching potentially. Do they know what coaching is? You know, if they do, then obviously your marketing is a little different. If they don't really know anything about coaching, then you can do some teaching in your marketing as far as what coaching is and the benefits and how it's going to help them, okay? So that goes into understanding your ideal client, where they are and what they understand as well, and then just really targeting your marketing to that person, okay? So I would love to hear from you in the comments. Do you feel clear and confident in the value that you're offering through your coaching and your ideal client, your program, what it is you're offering? Do you feel confident? I'd love to hear from you in the comments. And if you do, what is it that you offer? You know, when you can describe it really well, that's a good sign, right? We want to be able to describe it easily. So this is a good way for you to check in and see, you know, do I know who I'm working with? And can I explain what it is easily? So let me know in the comments if you do. And if you don't, let me know as well, and we can get you moving in the right direction. So I'd love to know If you found this video helpful, and if you did, I'd love for you to give it a thumbs up. Also, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I do new videos every week specifically for health coaches, helping you get out there and grow your business. And I also want to let you know that I have a free training that I just did. It was a brand new masterclass about 8 steps to boost your confidence as a new coach and get your first or next paying clients. And I would love for you to sign up and watch that masterclass. I know you're going to find it super helpful. I talk a bit about this, but I go into the other steps that you really need to have in place to start getting paying clients in your coaching business. So the link for that training is right below this video. So I want to thank you so much for joining me for today's video. I hope you found it super helpful, and I will see you next week.